body. And keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. And gently close your eyes, please. And also, while you focusing to this bell sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. Do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, in this ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly try to give some guidelines and information for you to yourself to develop your practice. So when it comes to practicing meditation, it is very necessary and important you gaining the result within yourself. If there is no result, then you have to look yourself and see why you cannot gain the result. So mostly when it comes to meditation, you have to remember the body and your mind, and also the awareness, sati, attention. This everything should come together. It's kind of like, as example, that 4 people carrying a table. Just imagine one person go fast and another person go slow and another person hold it too high or put too much strength, and another person don't hold it properly or don't put necessary effort. So then what will happen? Kind of like how it look like when that 4 people move. So how about that all the 4 people put the same strength and the same balance and the same movements, same speed, move. So same like in your, when it comes to practice meditation, remember the physically, mentally, you have to use the same effort to same direction. So that is necessary. And that conventionally we can understand it. We sitting and we keep our backs, neck, head straight, and even come to tranquility, our primary mental object, kind of like observing inhalation, exhalation. You still can you understand this. But sometimes when we practice meditation, our meditation is kind of like we stuck when a truck or heavy vehicle stuck in the mud and again and again race too much and put the gas too much and put too much power, then what will happen? It cannot get out of the mud. It little by little going to stuck in the mud. So same like within our meditation, the main important 2 mental conditions, very mental nature. You have to remember, one is busyness. So our mind is sometimes too busy. It is normal. And always thoughts come. And other one is laziness. So that's why we fall into sleep. So this two nature is always there. So then the Buddha's teaching, it is mentioned, it is in the Aggi Sutta. It's very beautifully explained. There are no any other the meditation teacher, even before the Buddha or even after the Buddha, any other meditation method never explain this. So it is very important for you yourself, whatever the meditation technique you practice, deeply remember to use this method, because this will bring the success. If you don't bring this, apply this to yourself, you cannot get out of the stuck point wherever you are. So we kind of like rotating at the same place and getting stuck. So when it comes to the busyness, if your mind is busy, always remember, don't put too much effort to concentrate if you feel so busy. Another thing is, don't try to put attention to understand why you are busy. That means don't question it. So as example, now you sitting and closing your eyes, so then your mind goes somewhere else. And then you start to question yourself, why I am so busy, why I cannot focus myself, why it happened every day for me. So like that, you try to question yourself. So don't try to do that. Another thing is, don't have the kind of like a joy or the pleasure. In Pali, and it calls priti. So that means you enjoy. So whatever the busyness. So when the mind becomes busy, remember these three things. It is very important. So the virya means effort. You don't put the effort when you are in the busy mind. And other thing is, you don't try to develop logical mind, or you don't try to understand why I am busy. Another thing is, you're not going to even enjoy, you're not going to develop the priti, or not going to settle down and be comfortable with it. Those are the three things that you should not do when the mind is busy. But mostly what happening when our mind is busy, we always try to push our attention to the mental object or the nimitta or the workplace. And then it becomes kind of like a struggle. Then after meditation, you feel so tired. And you will do it few days, and then after that, you give up it. Why? Because practicing meditation is a kind of like having a war yourself. No, then remember yourself. If you put too much effort when you are busy, you get tired. And even in day-to-day life also the same. If you try to do something with the busy mind, when you do too much effort, you break things. You make mistakes. You get stuck in the mud. Another thing is then don't try to analyze, because you are in the busy mind. With the busy mind, you cannot analyze. Don't look for reasons. Busy, just accept you are busy. That's it. Another thing is, don't try to enjoy, or don't try to be comfortable with that busyness. So remember that when the mind is busy, then what you have to do? So the very first thing, it called passaddhi. Passaddhi means you have to relax your physical body. That's why I always say, be comfortable with your posture. And not only that, that mentally you have to relax. It's kind of like not to be tough. kind of like a tight yourself. No, be relaxed. So when you see your mind, now you don't go with the putting effort, you mentally relax your body. So that is the first thing that you have to do. Another thing is accept it. Don't resist that busyness. So when you accept it, you come to harmonize the nature, because it is inside you. It is not outside. So that's why just it is okay. Accept it. And other thing is, when you accept, as a result of that, then you start to develop the equanimity. There is no any kind of resistance, and there is no any kind of acceptance. Why? Because you know it is busy and you don't want to keep it like that way. That's why you're not going to accept it. As example, I mentioned, don't enjoy it. No. At the same time, but you're not going to resist it. Why? Because it is you. That's where you develop the equanimity. So when it comes to that passaddhi, another thing is the you accepting, harmonize, it called the samadhi, tranquilizing. Another thing is the upeka, equanimity. So when the mind busy, remember to use, this is what the Buddha said. That is a very effective, and you see how it works. The mostly we cannot get the result because we don't apply it like that way. When the mind busy, we try to put the effort. So then what happening? We stuck in the mud again and again and again. And if you feel lazy, sleepy, tired, lethargic, you feel kind of like a lack of energy. So then you have to remember to not to put, so I will give the negation. So don't put the passaddhi, that means don't relax your body. Then you will more get into sleep. And don't relax your mind when you feel sleepy, lethargic. And another thing is, don't try to harmonize with it. Don't try to tranquilize with your lethargic mind. Why? Because then it start to go into that nature. And then don't develop a equanimity with it. Don't try to be with it in the same level. Why? Because you know that you have to get out of this sleepiness, tiredness, this laziness, lethargic mind. So then in the beginning, when you listen this very carefully and entire your life, remember that, because those are this all mental abilities. It is not something else that you. So recognizing this and applying it in the right place is called sati. So then when you have the busy mind and when you have the lazy mind, in that both mind, you need the sati, recognition. So when you recognize that your busyness, in the beginning, you don't put the effort and you don't try to analyze it, understand it, and you don't try to enjoy it. So you not going to do that three things. And when you have the laziness, you're not going to that be comfortable or relax your body and mind, and you're not going to tranquilize it, and you're not going to harmonize with, or you're not going to equalize with it. You're not going to develop equanimity with that. So then when you have the busy mind, what you should do, calm your mind, calm your body and relax comfortably. Physically, you relax. Even you can, little bit move your body and relax and calm and equalize your mind and try to be tranquilized with it without going against. So that is the business. So when it comes to lazy mind, You don't do that relaxing your body, calming or tranquilizing your mind with that. And also you're not going to equalize with, or you're not going to develop the equanimity. Then what you do, when the mind and the body become sleepy, lethargic, you bring the effort, that which you're not going to do when the mind busy. You do it when your mind is lazy. Another thing is, you develop analytical understand, that awareness. You look deeply, why this? Then maybe you see, oh, your head is little bit down. Then you correct it. Because if you don't see it, just imagine, just keep the head little bit down. Then what will happen? All the energy come to your eyes, and the eyes get tired. And then naturally you go down. That is what happened. Then the sleepiness comes. So then you recognize, then you come to the posture. So that is your awareness, that is your sati. And also bring a little bit the joy to yourself. Oh, you practicing meditation. No, you enjoy the moment, because when you enjoy the moment, your mind start to open. And when you enjoy any place, you're not going to sleep. You awake. Sometimes even the children, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they sleep. But sometimes look, when the New Year evening, or when any special occasions come, when the mind is happy, like in our childhood, if we go for a vacation or trip, sometimes early morning we have to go, whole night we don't sleep. There's no sleepiness. Because the joy, the happiness, it never put you to sleep. So then when you feel sleepy, bring the happiness to you. Inject the happiness to yourself. Knowingly you practice this for you, and maybe after few hours you're not going to do it. So in this very moment you enjoy. So those are the two major informations you have to remember in any meditation technique. This is the Buddha's advice that Buddha gave to monks, and that wherever, whatever the difficulties come, because we have no mindfulness to apply these two things separately. So where we should put the effort, understanding, and the joy. When you don't recognize that, you put it in the wrong place. That is why everybody is struggling. So then remember. So with that information, we're going to observe in the beginning our inhalation, exhalation in front of our nose and upper lip area. So in the beginning, just allow it to happen itself. And when it happens, recognize this is inhalation, this is exhalation. Do nothing extra. Just be comfortable and learn to see and recognize without interfering to the inhalation, exhalation. That is important. And inhalation, exhalation means the sensation. And then follow the entire continuation, and then you will see each and every inhalation, exhalation has a different character. So from there, we go to Vipassana meditation. In the Vipassana meditation, you keep, now in the Samatha, you keep observing the inhalation, exhalation, and you went with the details. This is inhalation, this is exhalation, this is beginning, middle, end, and this is long, this is short. Get out of that all the details. Just simply start to focus to the sensation. Keep focus to the sensation. And then what will happen when exactly you come to the point of sensation? And one thing is, your body start to disappear and you start to get into only the feelings. When you observe the feelings, that you will see how the feelings change, sensation change. And out of that recognition, you understand that whatever that you recognize through the sensation, that recognition also change. So then object and subject both change. It change in the same direction and the same speed and the same level. That is why we cannot see it. But when you have very sharp and clear awareness, you can recognize it. And also, in between the sensation and the recognition, there is no, in between this middle, there is no anything else. That means there is no kind of like self. Different entity maintain this anything. This everything happening according to the phenomena or the cause and effect or the dharmata. And then you see the thoughts and how the thoughts change. That is the observer. So the thought also change according to the form, feeling, sensation, formations. And then you will recognize this all, everything happen according to necessary conditions in that very moment. So that is, you don't need to remind this anything. Only thing that you have to do, learn to observe the sensation without thinking, with very clear, pure mind, and learn to see. So what you see is the important, not what I say to you as information. Forget about it when you observe, because reminding this you cannot observe. Why? Then your mind is stuck with this information. So you have to forget it and observe. So what you see there is your own experience. That is your result. So that is where we go. So with that, keep your back straight and your right palm on your left, neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. Bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes 3 times and say Supatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also, think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation, exhalation, and later observe impermanent, unsatisfactory nature and selflessness within the sensation arise in you. So deeply and gently breathe out 3 times and find the sensation in front of your nose. Just bring your attention to the sensation and recognize this is inhalation, this is exhalation. From time to time, observe yourself and see the condition of the mind. If your mind is busy, don't put too much attention, effort. If it is too sleepy, then you will bring the effort. Follow the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. Knowingly, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. Also, you may experience some inhalation, exhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. Just recognize it. Bring your attention only to the sensation. Just be with the sensation with very clear mind and always keep the newness and observe impermanent, unsatisfactory nature and selflessness within any sensation arising you. Bring your attention to your body. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars, reminding yourself like this with clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light and expand the capacity to your backside, to your left side, to your right side. Downward, and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun. Spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, in this human life, the mind and the time has a deeper connection. You have to remember that very carefully. Your all thoughts that you carry related to time, and it has a deeper relationship with the time. So you cannot separate it. It's same kind of like a potter and the clay. So if you are the potter, that if your mind is the potter, thoughts, time is kind of like the clay. So then you have to remember what you get out of the clay. Because the clay is going to be so comfortable with you, surrender to you, listen to you. So you become the master to handle it and give the shape to it and bring something out of this unformed clay. So then you are the one who giving the colors, giving the shape, giving the strength to the time. So then every day you have to count on your each and every second you spend and see what you bring out of it, what you create out of the time. That's mean thoughts. So what kind of thoughts you build up in you. So when it comes to that, the one of the important thing that you have to put attention as a human being, you have to develop inner strength and you have to be strong. So when it comes to strong, why it is you have to be strong in a certain level? Because this life is not easy. It is not a kind of like a very comfortable, happy journey. That's why the Buddha mentioned it always. This is full of suffering. So if you cannot handle it like that way, it becomes very difficult, not only for you, especially for other people around you, going to have a hard time when you don't have enough capacity to handle your own life. Even for little things sometimes. So then remember, so when it comes to aeroplanes, there are planes, they cannot sometimes handle big storms. They go away from it. And sometimes when the turbulence happens, and they try to escape that and they go in a very comfortable way. But as you know, there are some flights they build with the purpose to go to the epicenter or the eye of the tornado. It has power to handle any kind of turbulence. So you have to be like that. Otherwise, you cannot go into the epicenter of this suffering. If you cannot go there, what will happen? When you see it, when you hear it, when you face it, you start to try to find a way to escape from it. Or maybe emergency landing. As parents, you raise your children and they go and start to have their own life. And suddenly, you know, they come back crying, and or maybe they go to friends. And why? Because they cannot handling their own. So they kind of like come to you suddenly. It's kind of like an emergency landing. Why? Because they cannot handle situation. They come back to you. Hey, even for us also same. Sometimes, knock the door. Bante, Bante, Bante. When I open the door, crying and, weeping and shaking whole. No, I ask why. Oh, this is the situation. I cannot handle this kind. When it look, slowly and little by little, it's a every day we see it everywhere. Remember, you're not going to have a life that not going to be that with other people. You're going to have a life that whatever the other people also have. Once you recognize that you're not going to personalize your inner experience, that is a big win in your conventional life. And it will open some door to your spiritual development also. So then remember, be strong, because this is where you're going to recognize this. Be strong mentally. That when you become strong mentally, that means you need one tool, that is understanding. That is what we're trying to give it to you. And with the immunity that when you have with this understanding, when you have immunity with the understanding, don't worry about any situation, anything. You can go with any situation in life. That is what the Vipassana are trying to teach you. That is what the Buddha's teaching fundamentally trying to develop in you. So if you don't have that, you always go behind seen, unseen, this, many things, and you worship things. But it never going to help for us to become better person ourselves. So then remember yourself. Always. It doesn't matter how physically or how conventionally in day-to-day life, material, you build up a very nice life. Because if you cannot handle something mentally, it is very difficult. It doesn't matter how beautiful the kites that you build, but you need the wind to enjoy it. The same like the life, understanding, the becoming matured, this everything go through real life. Not by books or not by Dhamma talks or not by teachings, not by Tripitaka. No. When it comes to pure, organic, real life, it is your clear experience. So, but the thing is, all the Dhamma and the teachings will help you to understand it within yourself and develop kind of like a strength in you. Then you can go through it and you can see it very clearly. So when it comes to that, we talk about the panya or the wisdom. In the Buddha's teaching, there are three kinds of wisdom Buddha mentioned. So mainly these all teachings we can apply with the conventional and eternal. Another thing is when you practice meditation, always remember these all teachings you have to apply to day-to-day life, you become with it. Otherwise, you know something, but when a situation comes, you act in a different way, it's not going to work. Like loving kindness meditation. We practice loving kindness meditation. But how about when we get mad? Forget about all living beings, be well and happy, destroy everything and kind of like become a demon. You cannot be like that. Because if you practice loving kindness, that's mean you have to be like that. That is not you have to put effort to be like that way. No, you have to allow naturally transform you to that. So then to transform the whatever the wisdom that you gain, even observing inhalation, exhalation, this is inhalation, this is exhalation. the change, accepting change. So you practice meditation and you accept the change. And how about when other person or situation change? We have no power to accept it. We go crazy. What the point in practicing meditation? So then your practice itself should transform you to that wisdom. Even with the very little things, start to, to go with your practice. Don't be a separate person and don't separate your practice. No, you become like that way. So the thing is, if you don't allow it to become like that, it's not going to happen. So then our past memory, our self-centered mind, and everything hold us, and we not ourselves, we not allow our practice to come in. So then yourself remember, when we develop the wisdom, there are three kind of knowledge or the wisdom we have. One is called Jati Panya. Jati Panya means by birth you gain some wisdom. So deeply psychologically, when you come to the mother's womb from in the inside that 9.5 months to 10, and you develop some kind of understanding, some kind of like the brain, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this physical structure, it is very necessary. By birth, if you are disabled, you cannot understand this dharma, or you cannot have a successful life. So then you come to this world, and not only that, within few years, your parents, your brothers, sisters, family members start to teach you something. That knowledge is used to be here before you come. So as example, your parents' name, your brothers, elder brothers, sisters' names, or the village name, the country name, the history. So this all used to be here. So then what other people does, they start to tell, oh, this is your mother, this is your father, and this is the name, this is the school you go, this is the village you live. So like that. Sometimes from little children, when we ask, and what is your father's name, he cannot recognize, then he start to look parents' face, and then the parents remind, and then the child tell. So like that they learn. So that called Jati Panya. So you have to be very skillful person to develop that, because that after you become matured or when you become young, you cannot neglect that. You cannot forget it, and you cannot destroy it, because that knowledge, that wisdom, that whatever through the culture or the tradition used to be here, it is older than you. So like as example, look, this Buddha's teaching, 2,600 years old. How many lifetimes we maybe went through that? So then if we try to change that, what will happen? So like that, we in day-to-day life, we mostly, whatever that they are, that we forget the history. We forget the history. And then we just start to act that whatever according to the emotions or whatever we hear from others. So like that way, we start to act. And that's why sometimes, just imagine that all the religions is older than that most of us. And then if somebody go against and destroy any religious place, from where that he gained that? Because that wisdom used to be here. It's like a river used to flow through this timeline for many thousand years. But look, sometimes people caught up with certain ideas, they go and destroy. So then the Jati Panya is very necessary. It helps you on conventional, you have a very good life. So otherwise attaining to enlightenment means you not go crazy or you not go against anything. Any person, whatever the right or wrong view they carry, that any person should be comfortable with you. It's nothing to do, you go against something. You resist any situation. Beggar to king, you become okay with anybody. So the generous person to the thief, you both accept in the same way. That is the mindset you come with that when you have the jati panya. So the one is the jati panya, it is very necessary that you have to have a very physical condition. Another thing is you have to have a mind to accept whatever the wisdom or the knowledge that used to be here. That is why look at the Buddha and how beautiful it is. You know, he start to synchronize, he start to give new meaning like Panchasila. It is not the Buddha. It used to be for a long time. So then the Buddha accepted. And he didn't go anything. Even the dana, giving dana. You know, people used to do it in many, many ways. As you know, that even the Mahaprajapati Gautami, when the Buddha attained to the enlightenment, that very day morning, and she offered that. That's mean the before the Buddha people used to offer. But what the Buddha did, then he start to give a new meaning to that. So then when somebody is there within you, and you heard that person, you know, you become that person character is like this way, that way, well, rather than criticizing, rather than rejecting that person, go against that person, can you transform that person to something? Can you see that there is something that you can change in that person? Or at least rather than putting a name or the condition to that person, can you look at that person as a human being? Remember, when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, it doesn't matter how big you are or where you are. If you cannot see through, that means through the colors, the nations, the religion, if you cannot, the living being or the person living inside, you cannot develop this wisdom. You have to practice deeply to understand this. So then remember yourself that don't have a mindset to go against things. So that is what uplift your jati panya, bringing that you accepting the wisdom or the knowledge, or maybe, you know, that before you born here, that your parents had a lot of knowledge and the wisdom. But now children have the Google and YouTube and Wikipedia, and they go there and they Google something, but maybe your parents don't know something about Google or whatever, in YouTube. So then if you go with that knowledge and argue with them, it's not going to work. So then in the very first level, you learn to accept other person, because we don't know from what background, what condition that person come. So learn to accept. That doesn't mean you become like that. No, learn to be them to like that way, little bit. And the second is, it's samatha vipassana panya. So then the samatha vipassana panya is conventional wisdom. So the conventional wisdom is in the samatha vipassana panya is when we explain it in a spiritual way. The conventional wisdom means that we have to come to a point to recognize same like other people. So as example, we call common sense. So this is a cup and it is a white. So like that way, we have to understand and we have to have that wisdom. So that is where everybody can drive on a road without getting accidents, because everybody recognizes the same rules and regulations, and then everyone go through that. So that is very necessary. So then you have to look around the life, look others, Look around, even look at the Buddha. When in the Matuposaka Jataka, that when his mother told and wish him, may one day may you become a Buddha. That time he didn't know who is the Buddha. So then how he became a Buddha? So start to look and search and ask from people. Then some people told, oh, Buddha, we heard the Buddha is kind of like this. And then he start to act like that way. Then he go to another place and ask. Then when people ask, what you trying to do? Where you go? Who you want to be? Then he tell, I want to be a Buddha. Then people ask, do you know the nature of the Buddha? No. Oh, he is the wise man. So then he start to look for that. See, even he became a Buddha learning and looking at others' Buddha. In conventional life, remember, you can become anyone if you follow that person. That's very simple. Even when it comes to these Western countries, that there are many, thousands books. It say how to become rich, how to become successful. Regarding this personal development, what is the main principle? And start to find and look and follow rich people if you want to be rich. Don't criticize them. Why you cannot be rich mostly? Because you criticize. So if you criticize that person, how are you going to be like that way? You cannot be. So like that, and always remember, when you want to be somebody, you have to follow that kind of people. So then that conventional wisdom, Jati Panya and the Samatha Vipassana Panya means conventional wisdom, and in day-to-day life, start to recognize things and according to the common sense. That is very necessary. And the third one called Nepaka Panya. So the Nepaka Panya means you start to act according to necessary conditions and situations. Conventional life, so in day-to-day life, it doesn't matter you are husband, you are wife, you are child, you are parents, you are teacher, it doesn't matter who you are. You maybe in your head you have a big character, you have a personality, you hold it to that. Oh, I am the husband, oh, I am the wife, I am the child, so like that. But when a situation comes, forget that identity and start to act according to necessary conditions. Don't always blame to people. No, if there is something doing wrong, or if you have to correct that person, in that time raising your voice and telling something is good. But if you always talk like that way, that is not good. It's going to break the relationships. And sometimes, for some people, you need to advise in a certain level. But if you always advise other people, then other people get disturbed. You should not do that. So like that, you have to understand, okay, this is the time I have to talk. This is the way I have to talk. Okay, this is the way I have to do. That is what called sati. See, that you practice meditation, now you apply it to your life. Then naturally your life going to become more comfortable. The other people start to be with you. Other people like to associate you. They feel more comfortable around you. So that is what you have to develop in day-to-day life. Nepaka Panya, so forget about all the identity and start to act according to necessary conditions and situations. So that all in conventional life. And when it comes to spiritual life, these three things, Jati Panya, So whatever the wisdom that you have with your the body and the physical birth, if your brain damage, if your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body have some difficulties, you cannot master this and you cannot attain to enlightenment. Another thing is the samatha vipassana panya means in day-to-day life, you have to understand this everything names and forms. So that is in meditation level, eternal level of understanding. This everything names and form. And all this world, this body related to 5 aggregates: form, feeling, sensation, formations. There's nothing else. And other thing is 4 elements. Inside, outside, all these material things come out of the 4 elements. Those are the things that you have to know. And once you know that, you come to a point, nepakapanya. Nepakapanya means when you attain to enlightenment, the very nature, behavior of the enlightened master, act according to necessary conditions and situations. According to necessary conditions and situations, act. That's it. No character builder. Not go with the pattern, not go with the habit. It all completely free from habit and act according to necessary conditions. See, now you conventionally develop that pattern. Even when you attain to enlightenment, you have the same nature. See that now your conventional life is not different from your spiritual life. So your everyday living nourish your spirituality. That is where you day by day, deeply practice yourself. So then whenever the situation comes, and you face for that. Why? Because you already developed the wisdom within yourself. So then remember, don't separate. There is no dualistic mind when it comes to vipassana. There is no separation when it comes to vipassana. There is no resistance when it comes to vipassana. So this always what you practice, be with that practice. That is where it going to help for you. It never going to destroy you. Dhammo have rakkati dhammachari. That whatever that you hold or you practice as your spirituality, it's going to protect you. So then always remember yourself every day by day, little by little. You don't need to do big things. Just start with the little things. But do your best for that. Do your best. And never have a mindset to go away from anything. You have a mindset, go towards something. That is the Buddha's mind. So with that, I bless upon everyone. With this good practice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbitiyo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata cha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang Asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.